Hello, hello, hello. Wherever you are on our engaging planet called Earth, I wish you and yours a wonderful and beautiful day. As you clearly see, I'm using Blender 2.80. The topic for the day is two topics in all, but I have one topic that I really want to show. The minor topic is rigging in Blender, and my major topic is using custom bones in Blender. So let's begin with the course. Now, I'm a Blender veteran. I guess you can call me a Blender veteran. I've been using Blender since version 2.76, so I have some knowledge of it. With 2.76 or 2.79 and beyond, we have to use the hotkeys a lot. So I'm still one of those hotkey junkies. I'm going to use the scale key. But if you're a new user, here's the scale right here. I'm going to click on the scale tab. I'm just going to drag it up to make it sort of large. Right there, that's a good size. And since it's just a tutorial, I don't need to have no fancy dancy rig. I don't need to have an animal. I don't need to have my mesh being a person. I'm just making a tutorial because I learned it when I was taking programming in college, computer programming. If you want to tackle a hard subject, hey, you better make a simple, easy program to teach you how to learn to deal with the hard ones. And that's how it is with Blender. Before you can do something complicated, you better have expert knowledge and engaging in something simple. So I'm using my favorite, Hurl the Cube. Alright, so I'm in object mode. Let's go to modeling mode. And Blender have many ways of doing something. I can click on the word modeling. I can click here on the word menu. I see editing, or I can hit the tab key. I'm gonna hit the tab key. Now I'm in editing mode. The thing that you must remember when you're doing rigging, this goes hand in hand with rigging. You need to subdivide your mesh. If you don't subdivide your mesh, don't expect to see any bends or contortion or whatever. So let me subdivide my mesh. I'm going to click on my right mouse button. I click on subdivide. It's subdivided.
Alright, what do you call me for?
I'm going to add a couple subdivision surfaces to it. 1, 2, 3. That's good enough right there. So I gave it roughly 4 subdivisions. That's cool. Now I'm going to get back into object mode. You can hit the tab key, or you can appear on the word context menu. This time I'm going to click on the menu. Object mode. There. Now let's add a armature. And since my armature is so simple, here in this menu right here, I forgot the name of it. I know what it's called, but when you're working on your own in Blender, you don't go around saying such and such menu, such and such. But I know the name of it, but I just can't call it right now. So this menu with my mouse pointing, I'm just leaving the armature because I'm not making nothing fancy. But you see, we cannot see that particular armature. So we have to click either on this little humanoid figure right here that's green. The thin looking hawk, I'll call it that. Let me click on it. At the bottom selection, you click on in front. There. If I zoom in, you see, we can see the armature. And Blender 2.79 and below, the little tab was called axis. But it makes sense to call it front because it looks like my little armature is in the front. I'm going to scale it. I either can hit the S key, or I can go right back over here and choose scale. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to scale it on the Z axis. And I like this. It's like a big improvement. I'm going to scale it on the Z axis. But I can't scale it down. So let me take it off of that. I'm going to hit the S key. S, scale it some more. Hit G key to grab it. I hit Z to bring it down on the Z. So the hotkeys, they still have their functionality. They still impressive for speed. I'm gonna scale it some more, and that should do it right there. Let me zoom around. But if you notice, it's something I don't like about this. It's skinny. It's hard to see it. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna hit S again on the Y-axis, or as I'm starting to discover, it's easy just to hit this little scale tab and spread it out on a Y. It comes in handy for that. And you see, I like it. That's a nice plump size. Okay, so we're done with that. Now I said we are in object mode. Now we get more into the rigging. Wait, before I do that, I need to do something else. I need to go right back to edit mode. So this time it's going to click on modeling. Hit A to highlight it all. Hit the right mouse button, subdivide. I'll click on this to give it a few more subdivisions. Let me see. I think it's 3 should do it. That's all I want. Then we got to switch back to layout mode or object mode. Now we're going to do the rigging. When you do the rigging, you first have to click on your object, your mesh. Then you have to click on your shape. Now before I go on, it's easy to rig with a simple mesh, which was a cube at first. It don't have no holes in it. It's not made of no triangles. When it got subdivided, it still remained quads. So it's easy to do this while it's just all quads. I can easily create my rig, as you're going to see. First, click on your object or your mesh. Then you click right back on your armature. You have 2 options, maybe more. I know I can, for the new people, I click on object. I can go to parent. Then I can choose with automatic weights. But for me, I'm used to shortcuts, so I just hit Control P, and the same menu appear with automatic weights. Zap. Now we're going to know if it worked, because we should see something called pose modes. You have several ways to get into it. You can hit the tab key. Okay, so you see the pose mode, or I can go right back up here to my menu, my text menu, and choose pose mode. Here we go. Let's see if it worked. I'm going to click on each of my bones. I click on that. I just want to hit rotate. Okay, it did that. Wonderful. I'm going to click on my next one. I'm so used to right click. In Blender 2.80, it's left click. Okay, it's rotating. It don't have to look pretty, but we see it's working. Click on my next one. Rotate. Click on my last one. Rotate. And here's something I discovered a couple days ago, my good people. Since I'm ready for the world of rigging and animation. I learned how to make a base mesh from a humanoid. Now I start making it look better, but now I can actually start making my animations the way I always wanted to. Because I know how to make a base humanoid mesh. And now I'm not using skin modifiers, and I'm not using that box method. If you want to see what I did, check on my videos called The Quick Humanoid Mesh. It takes about 10 minutes to make a simple mesh. Alright, now, if you don't want to have to hit the Z key a billion times to get back to your original mesh, all you have to do is right click it, then you go to user transform, and zap, we right back to our original mesh and armature. That's to be a big help to you in the future. So we know my armature works. Now we enter part B of this particular assignment. Let's start making our custom bones. So I'm going to go back up here, hit tab key. Let's go back to object mode. I'm going to add a mesh. And I discovered there's 2 people. When you're making a custom bones, do not use an empty. Empties don't work. I discovered that the hard way. Because while empties look pretty and cute, you cannot distort an empty. I cannot extrude an empty. You get me? I cannot delete a vertex. Empties don't have no vertexes. And that was my hang up. So keep this in mind. When you're using a custom bone, you must use a mesh. Got it? All right, so let's go. I'm going to choose add, mesh, and I love using the plane. Plane. We don't see the plane because it's right at the origin. I'm going to hit, I just can hit the move key, the move tab, and just move it. See these Blender 2.8, they do got some nice conveniences to it. Alright, now I'm going to go to modeling mode or edit mode, if you will. I want to make sure it looks like it's highlighted so I can hit the inset key. I never use it. I know the inset must be right here. Yeah, inset faces. Here's the inset faces icon right here. But I'm used to hitting the I key. Inset. Let me see. A. Inset. I clicked it. Alright. See? I better hit my I. I'm used to that. See? I'm used to the old-fashioned way of doing things. Now, I can click in the center. Let me click on the face tab. Click in the center. Hit X. Delete the face. But you see, it don't got no dimensions. When I have my custom bones, good people, I like to have a custom bone that has some dimension to it, some thickness. So I'm going to hit E to extrude. And let's add a little teeny thickness to it. That's it right there. Now, since it's a custom bone, I want to add more to it to show you what you can do with your custom bone. You can make it any way you want to. So I'm going to hit the right mouse button, subdivide, and that's what I want. Now, I'm going to click on Add Select. Let me zoom in some. Let me get into this. Oops, I better get this face right here. No, but this is just a simple exercise. I don't need to make nothing look pretty and wonderful. It's just a simple demonstration of what you can do. Well, I can't get to it. I have to zoom in some more. Right there. Right there. Let me zoom out. Now, I want to hit grab. I just want to go up some. I'm not making nothing fancy. I'm just showing you the power of a custom bone and how you can make your own custom bones. Alright, I'm done. Let me go back to layout mode or edit mode. Let me click on my armature. And the thing I like about this, now I have pose mode. See, the thing I like about it, you only have to do the parenting one time. And that was my mistake earlier. I kept hitting Control P. Nah. If you click on that armature, you can always go into that pose mode, which I'm going to do right now. Go to pose mode. Good. All right, the bone selected. Now, there's one more thing I want to do. No, I'll just leave it alone because I can't do it anyway. So, click on this dog bone, the green bone right here. It's called context bone. Let's go down to viewport display. And choose, let me open up this window some more. Custom object. Before I do that, I want to give my plane a little name. I'm going to call it plain bone. That's it. Custom object, plain bone, and zap. There it is. But you may be asking, why isn't it parallel to the plane like my mesh is? The reason it's not parallel to the plane, good people, because whatever direction the head or the tail of your bone is facing, your mesh or your custom bone will point in the direction that particular bone is pointed in. So here's where the edit part come into play. Let me go back to object mode. Can I click on this? All right, let me back in object mode. Let me click on my plain mesh, plain bone mesh. Now I can go to edit mode. Edit mode. Then highlight it. I'm going to say rotate on the X 90 degrees. And you see that. But it's upside down. I don't care about that. Let me try one more thing. rotate on X 180 degrees. Nope, that still didn't work. So, oh, I know how to do it. Rotate on X minus 90 degrees. Oh, there it is. That's the way I wanted it. Good. So you see how it looks. And if you want to, you see how thin it looks. If you want to, let me go down. I believe we can scale it. Oh, but I have to go back to scale my particular bone. I have to be back in pose mode. But from this edit mode, I can scale my bone here to watch. You see that? I can scale it from right here. If you don't feel like going to all that pose mode and doing all that stuff. And I'm going to scale it on the Y. Let's see how it looks. Oh, let me scale it on the X. Scale on X. Oops, scale on Z. Okay, yeah, that's how I want it to look like that. Good. Okay. And if you really want to, let's go back to object mode. If you cut now, I really don't need my mesh anymore. It's two options I can do to this mesh. I can delete it, which I would not advise, or I can put it in a collection, which you could do, or I just can hide it. Since it's such a simple lesson, I'm just going to hide it. The reason I'm hide it is because I feel like going back later and making some edits to it, and those edits, as you see, will instantaneously affect that custom bone. So let me hit H to hide it. There, it's gone. And if you notice, when you have the custom bone, the bone, that particular armature is gone. Let me go back. Let me click on this. Let me go back to pose mode. Pose mode. Alright, and here we go. I'm going to click on this. And there's one thing I want to tell you that to you. Now, I'm making my own custom object, but Blender has several of its own bones. It has orthohedral, which you're seeing now. It has stick, which you see right here. It has B-bone, which is like rectangulars. You see that? Rectangulars. It has envelope, which is hard to detect. I can see the bones, but you have to look real close into it to see those segments. Here's segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4 is my custom bone. And last, it has wire, which is hard, very hard on the eyes, because it looks like a skin modifier almost. But you see, the segments still are separate, but you have to guess. I'm going to put it back into its default orthohedral. Okay, so we know Blender has its own. But the thing I don't like about Blender's armature is that you always have to click inside your mesh. And when you click inside your mesh, you can make a little mistake on your mesh and distort it. With the custom bone, I'm not touching my mesh at all. When I go to Blender's orthohedral, I have to go into my mesh and I can make a mistake. I touch on my custom bone and there's no mistake. And while it's in pose mode, let's see that I can rotate it. You see that? I said it don't have to look pretty, but you see it's rotating it. Right click, clear transform. Now let me give each of these bones its own object. I clicked on that segment. Let me go down. Let me click on the dog bone again. I'm going to choose plain bone. And that's what I love about it. See, when I got that orientation right the first time, I can use my plain bone forever. And there's one more thing I like about that too. You see, inside here it has a scale. Right inside, I can scale it now. But at first, I was scaling my original in the edit mode. But you can come back inside of the pose mode and scale it. You see, now they're like two distinct different objects. I scaled it in pose mode. Let me click on my next one. Now, if you find this video enjoyable, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, leave a comment to help increase my knowledge of Blender and then help increase other people's knowledge in Blender. If you'd like to subscribe to hear about further topics that I may discover in Blender and share with you, my fellow Blender family. Please subscribe. Alright, I'm clicking on this next segment. I'm gonna choose plain bone. So we see the power of it. I can scale it. And I don't think you can scale those Blender's default armature. You cannot scale it. So you see the power of using your own. You can scale it as large or as small as you want. For the last segment, I'm going to choose plain bone. And I'm gonna scale this to be something large. Let me scale it to 1.5 or something, or 2. You see that? That's the power of it. You cannot beat that. You can't beat it. Let's see how they all work. Let me hit rotate. I rotate it. Since this is the tail, it rotates the whole thing. I'm going to click on my next one. I'm going to rotate it. I want to go in a different direction. I'm going to rotate this one to my left. Rotate to my left. Oops. To my left. I'm going to rotate the last segment to my right. And let's zoom out and see how it looks. Yuck. But you get the point. You have the power with your custom shapes. I'm going to hit clear all. And I'm going to make them all look more pretty looking. I'm going to make them all look sort of uniform. I'll make it 0.5. How that looks. That's too small. I'll go up some more. I'll make it 1. I'll come to this one. Oh, I'll make it 1. I'll make them all 1 so it can look more pleasing to the eye. 1. The last one. Click on it. I'll make it 1. Alright, so it looks a lot pleasing to the eye. So that's my good people. We learned about rigging, and the thing that I think will help you with your rigging is your custom bones. Because there's one more thing I want to test out too. Let me give it this custom bone. There's something else I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna give it this one. I'm gonna go back to object mode. I'm gonna add me another mesh. I'm gonna add me UV spear right there. Grab it, move it out. I'm gonna call this sphere bone. SP. What's that? Sphere bone. Let me delete it. Put it back because something happened. Add mesh UV sphere. Move it. I'm gonna call it sphere bone. BONE. I'm gonna click on my mesh. I can click. See, that's it. I can click on any of them. That makes it even more better. Like I said, I don't have to click inside. I don't have to touch my mesh with the custom bone. You do not have to touch that mesh. I'm gonna go back to pose mode. Pose mode. I'm gonna click on this bone right here. It's already highlighted. I'm gonna choose. Let me see. My custom object sphere. Let's go back to edit mode. And remember, the reason like that, because the sphere is taken on the dimensions, the width, height, and length of that particular custom bone. So, let me go back to object mode. Let me click on my sphere. Let me go back to edit mode now. Let me adjust my sphere, see if I can make it look like an actual sphere. Oh, I know what to do. Scale it on the X. See? Scale it on the X. That what did it. Object mode. I want to move it. Or I can hide it. I'm going to leave it like that. I can hide it. Go back to, I want to click on my mesh. On my bones. Go to pose mode. Because I want to try something else that I learned today too. I want to see if I can make that a wire frame. Wire frame. And look at that. Now see, that's power. You can see, I can make all my arms have this sphere on it. I can make my my torso have this shape. You have a lot of power with this. Look at that. Look at that. I like that. I like clicking on that wireframe. See, I make use of a lot of my stuff now. And the wireframe. That's power, people. Alright, so that's it for this lesson. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, leave a comment. I won't bite. I won't cry if it's negative. But it's a comment, so that counts on YouTube. If you would like to subscribe for future content that I may upload, be my guest. Until the next time, my good people in the Blender Nation, peace.